Okay. This.
Hey, hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
Great.
Does that
Does
look?
that look?
Can you
Can
read
you
that
read that
correctly, or is
correctly,
it
or is
just
it
flipped?
flipped?
No, I can read it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Echo.
Echo.
Hold
Hold
on
on
here.
here.
Is there a weird echo?
Yeah.
Is that your
Is that your
focus
focus
space?
space?
Huh?
I said
I said that's your focus space.
I am reading what I've written down here.
Oh.
Oh.
Um.
Is it something that, like, if you put headphones in, if you put, like, an AirPod in, will it?
If you
If
put
you put
an
an
AirPod button. Do you have
Do you have
that
that
capability?
capability?
I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see
Let's
how.
see how.
No.
No.
Let's see.
Let me see.
Okay.
Okay.
How's that sound?
That sounds good for me. How does it sound for you?
I don't hear myself, so that's good.
Okay.
I don't know what happened, but okay.
Wow. Okay.
We'll go with it. Whatever.
Perfect.
Right.
I
Okay.
love.
So I called you here today to find out more, to get some content that we can start using for one. There's an article I have to submit. It's not coming out until January, but I have to submit it next week.
Okay.
And it's like we have a name for it in marketing. I forget what it is. Anyway, so it's a promo article. Like
Yeah.
we're providing it, we're writing it.
Yeah. Okay. Got you.
Nicole.
Like a press release.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then, part of me like would love to be James Lipton. Who wouldn't, right?
I love it. I love it.
Not that I am, but
I'm
Anyway,
obsessed.
so that's kind of where I'm going with this, and just because I want to get you on film and I know dated term, so that we can have some good content for moving forward to convince people this is not the Our Town. Well, I mean, it may be the one they know and love, but they're going to
Right.
love this one so much better.
Right. Not your mama's our town.
Exactly right.
I love it. I love it.
So I actually, my boyfriend Chad and I came up with some questions.
I'm
That's my
obsessed.
nickname for Chat
I'm
GPT.
obsessed with Chad. I love it.
Brian always asks me about my boyfriend. I'm like, Steve? He's like, no, Chad. How's Chad doing? Okay, so you actually, so I'd like you to introduce yourself, where you're from, and why you applied for this job.
Okay. Yeah. Got you. So, my name's Chris Ikner, and I am the guest director here at Surfside Playhouse for our production of Our Town, opening January 9th. So I actually have been, I'm originally from Dublin, Georgia, born and raised, and I'm coming to Surfside by way of New York City, where I currently live and work as a freelance artist, freelance director. I've spent some time as the executive artistic director for Camille Playhouse and Brownsville Repertory Theater in Brownsville, Texas, where I also was the director of performing arts at St. Joseph Academy. So I've been around for a while, but I am actually very, very, very excited to be here in Cocoa Beach as the guest director and for Our Town right now. But I really, really, really am excited about being a part of a community. Because as I've said, we ain't out here getting any younger. And I love the idea of being a part of a community where I get to do what I love with people who appreciate the art for what it is. And that is enriching us all in our daily life as human beings and connecting in the real world, not just in our own little artistic minds. But I think that's what theater does. It helps us connect with the world around us, which is why I love community theater particularly, and what it does to people in the community, whether that be those people on stage, backstage, or in the audience watching. So I'm very, very, very excited to be here.
Cool. So I know that you were asked to rate in order what shows from our current season you would like to do. And I believe Our Town was your first choice.
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, speaking as the
Um,
11th grader from so many years ago, going, God, why did we even choose that show? I mean,
right.
to sell it to the marketing director, you got to sell it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
tell me what
Um,
makes it so
so
exciting for you.
so to me, exactly what I just said about a sense of community and theater connecting with a community. I think when you get right down to it, theater is storytelling. And I think the beauty of this art is that the sky's the limit. And I think our town is just written in such a way that is kind of a playground for artists, for storytellers, because yes, some people can look at it when you're looking at it at your, in your high school English class, just at the desk reading the book. It can be like, why are we still going on and on and on? But that's the beauty of it. I think, you know, most of us are just fascinated by the people we meet, and we always wonder what's their story there. And I think the play itself does that. It kind of gets into the ins and outs of a community and why people act the way they do, all their little quirks and isms that they have, and the beauty of that, and how those all connect to make a community thrive, and then going into just the beauty of life and appreciating it while we live it.
So, can I let a little bit of the cat out of the bag? Because I think it will help our cause.
Yes.
In most productions that I've seen, okay, in the one production I saw
Yeah,
in high school,
I hear you.
it would be
It's not
like,
something that we're out here searching for. Where can I go see our town? I get it. Yeah.
um, there were usually 2 to 3 people on stage at a time,
Hmm.
just the characters that are speaking.
Hmm.
You're taking a very different approach to that, and I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I love ensemble storytelling. That comes from having a really big background in musical theater. Yes, that's where, I got most of my training. However, as a director, I just love seeing people work together on stage. And also the teacher in me loves to see like the light bulbs going off and how they connect with one another. And it's amazing what people can do when they work together. So, this particular production, looking at that theme of community and going, hey, I love to watch movement on stage. I love to see what people can discover and how people can discover they move in the world that we create on the stage. And I've made it so that the ensemble is pretty much ever present throughout the story, and they're just as much a part of telling the story of these two families that we know that the play centers around, as much as the families themselves. And they get to play some really, really, really cool things in the town. So, and create really cool moments, because it's just, the idea of this story for everyone, the idea that it could be told anywhere. The idea of, hey, we could take our production of Our Town that we have and just take it out to the beach, and we could do it with all of our movement and get the same message across. So I'm really, really excited.
When I watched the rehearsal the other night, I felt almost like a voyeur watching what's going on in this little town. Remember the Truman Show, how it was a big bubble and
Yes,
everybody was watching it?
yes, yes.
That's what it felt like I'm watching the Truman Show.
That's exactly the way it should feel. That's the point. We are doing the job then. Yes, I love it.
Awesome. So, is that what will surprise people about this production?
Um,
Or what do you think? So, for people who already know the play, what will surprise them?
um, I think that the message of the show that we already know. I think people will be surprised by how current it feels, for one. Even though the play is almost 100 years old, I think it's going to make it feel, this production will make it feel like it's happening right now, which is something that I feel like this cast is doing. And I think the atmosphere also. Um, it it kind of feels like something like you said, it's like it's very voyeuristic, and it feels like you're watching a whole world just unfold in front of you, and it's really cool, the atmosphere that they've created. We've also added some characters in the ensemble that the audience gets to kind of ride on their coattails and view this story from, which is really, really cool. Also,
So,
another thing I can't leave out is just how I think it is actually an emotional show. It really, really is. Um, it's I think people know that Our Town is touching in a way, but you really feel the heartbeat of the story in a different way with everyone there experiencing the story along with you. So it creates not just the idea of the community of the actors, but when we have the stage manager talking to the audience and the audience gets to watch all of the actors on stage, the audience feels just as much as part of the community on stage, um, than the actors themselves. So I think it creates a whole different heartbeat and rhythm to the story.
so something interesting, you brought up the stage manager.
Uh-huh.
Typically, it's played by a male
Yeah,
and a very traditional male.
yeah.
So, can we talk about your casting of the stage
Uh, Crystal, she's phenomenal. So the stage manager to me, and I think to everyone, there's when they read Our Town or they've experienced Our Town, there's all of these theories, right? Of like, who is the stage manager? What is the point of the stage manager? Because it's just listed as stage manager in the script. There's no real big description of who the character is or should be or what they should look like. And so the idea of the stage manager kind of being this at times all-knowing individual, um, when you're looking at the show not through the lens of, say, 1938, or for me, like 2001 American literature class in high school, and you're actually looking at it for an audience that's coming to see the show in the first part of the year in 2026. I think when you're sitting there and you're listening to this girl who is our protagonist, Emily, turn to this character for answers and for, to have all of these questions, I don't necessarily know that, especially looking at it as, okay, here's this girl and it's supposed to be 1901, knowing what we know now, turning to an older man going, what is life like? You should know all the answers because we have the same exact. Women in 1901 and men in 1901 didn't exactly have the same way of life. So I think it's really, really, because I feel like the character of Emily is so honest, and those questions she really truly wants the answers to, and no one has the answers, right, of why life is the way it is or why we do the things we do. But the idea that she's with someone who she can trust, um, I think is really, really important for us to see. And I think it kind of takes us out of it a little bit when we see, oh, here's this young girl going to this like older man who clearly knows all the answers for her. I just kind of wanted to make a little bit more sense there. And Crystal just has a great way of being a person that anyone would just want to sit down and talk to, because she's so cool and she's so fun and she just has this energy that's contagious and captivating. So yeah, it's been a really cool process having her as that character.
and it's funny because I believe she has a background in social work.
That's yeah, yeah. So
Right? But no,
totally,
she's an amazing actor as
she's
well, and person,
fantastic. Yeah,
human.
yeah.
Um, So, what do you want audiences to feel in the first 5 minutes?
That it's that this is a show for them, that this is a show for them, that there is something on the stage that they get. And I think they will. I think they will. I think audiences will totally find something on this, because when you look at it too, like especially these older shows, you have so many different characters that a lot of people are like, well, I don't know what's going on. It's hard to follow. I don't know. I can't keep up with who the people are. But I think having this particular format, it's gonna help people connect with something. There's someone's journey that you can go on. And it's kind of a choose your own adventure there. And there's something that I think people can connect with
That's
immediately.
awesome. There's also in current days, and mainly because I work with a lot of coaches, life
Yeah.
coaches, and consciousness is a huge thing, right? Being conscious, being aware of the present here and now. I call them the woo-woos, but
Yeah.
it's a big trend that we as a society now are really focusing on in 2026, of being conscious of our actions, of what's going on around us, of the grass growing and all of that. And it's kind of interesting to see that this story back in 1901 was doing that. So I think that's kind of fun to see. I don't know. Talk about something about that.
Yeah. It there's we have, well, exactly what we're doing right now. Like we have access to people quite literally at our fingertips. And it's a blessing, and sometimes it's a curse, and it creates so much anxiety for people, because it's like, oh, there's this whole, I mean, and it is fairly new, this new culture of like, what is the proper thing to do? Do I make myself accessible to everyone all the time, and be at everyone's beck and call? And is it so important for us to know what's going on in the grand scheme of the world? Which, yes, to an extent, yes, but it kind of so often makes us lose sight of what's right in front of us. And I see people online, I see people, oh my goodness, the news is insane, because you watch the news and it's like there's someone giving a report. Meanwhile, there's bad weather somewhere, a natural disaster. There's a crawl going across the screen saying like all the bad things that are happening, and you're forming these opinions based on everyone else's experience and everyone else's, and which is interesting that this play talks about that. It talks about, do people ever really truly appreciate life as they live it? And that's a question that we can all kind of sit back and ask ourselves. Like, do we have strong opinions because people are telling us to feel this way? Or are we actually going outside and talking to people? Are we actually, appreciating someone who is nice to us? Are we, is it's okay if someone says hey to us and gives us a smile, for us to think that they're a nice person for doing that, instead of thinking, oh, well, that's that person who does such and such and such, and they believe this and this. No, they were nice to you. And sometimes that's all that matters. And that can make your day. And there are little things in this show that are nuanced, that it just kind of pulls at your heartstrings without you realizing it, I think when you read it on the page. But when you're actually watching this story and experiencing this as it was intended to be experienced, I think you get and you understand, and you can go back and say, hey, yeah, this character really is a nice person. This character, people have their opinions about them, but deep down, they're really nice, or they were nice to this person because that was their interaction. And I think that's something that we do need to be reminded of, that we have our own lives, not the lives that other people tell us we should live.
That was profound.
So,
Um, so something I walked away from rehearsal thinking
mhm.
was you give the actors a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And our actors, we have some excellent actors, and you have the spectrum from novice to like Dee Dee. She's 80 something years old and was a
80
showgirl back
years.
in the
Yeah. Yeah.
back in the day. And
Yep.
so, you run the gamut of experience, and many of our actors, I don't want to sound snobbish, have only been on community theater stage, have never taken an acting class, have no concept. We have some natural talent. But I want you to talk to maybe how you've cultivated this particular cast to work so well together.
Yeah. I run rehearsals and things off of this philosophy of show people what you can do, never what you can't. We're going to rehearse the thing that we want to show people. We're not going to rehearse the mistakes. So that's what we want to do. But I think everyone at the end of the day, and I've always been of the mindset, especially having worked so much in professional theater, in the sense that certain people get certain paychecks, I guess. That it really doesn't matter, because and we were having this conversation last night. I had this conversation with them. I if I am an audience member, a member of the community that comes to go see a show wherever, what my actors that I'm going to see as an audience member, what they're getting paid, what their experience is, that's not on my mind. My mind is, I'm here to see a show, and I'm excited, and there's something that I can get from it. I mean, I don't go to my doctor and I'm like, how much do you get paid for this? Like, I expect treatment, like that's important. And not that we're out here curing cancer with our production of Our Town, um, but there's experience that people can bring to the table that is unique. Everyone has their own unique experience that they can bring, and their own history that they can bring. And I think as directors, it's our job to listen, and our job to say, okay, what is it that they will understand that will get this point across? And I think when you are in the room with everyone and you're putting everyone on the same level, because hey, we're all doing the same show, um, and you give them that ownership of, this is ours, I think that creates for really, really, really awesome art, regardless of what it is, whether you're singing, painting. We have an amazing, and I just got to spend a few days with them, amazing tech group of backstage, like set builders, and they take such pride in what they do, and that's what makes it so magical. That's what makes it, you walk into that theater. I mean, for Matilda, I walked in and I was like, oh, I mean, you see it right away. You see it in the brushstrokes on the side of the wall. They put so much heart and themselves into it, and that's what makes it great. And that's what, when people feel like they have a voice and they have the ability to do the things, and you say, yeah, this is what I want you to do, um, they'll find a way to make it happen, and they'll be proud to make it happen because they trust you to know, I'm gonna help you out. I'm right here. And if it's something that I an idea that I had and it's not in their wheelhouse, then show me what you can do, and I'll be right there to support you. So Yeah.
Did you do anything like, because I wasn't there for the first few rehearsals, um, character development, talking about character development? You have a very, like I said, a diverse cast and some very young actors who may have never even considered. And even, when I came back to the theater in my 40s, I was like, I hadn't done anything since high school. I was never trained for character development. And then I'm like,
But
uh, okay, I'll say the lines, but I wasn't that person
yeah,
yet.
yeah, totally. I think the thing that this play is like a little like gift on a silver platter for actors. I mean, when we sit down and talk about it, I mean, it is actors candy. And one thing that's been really, really cool when I have rehearsals with just like my principal cast, like the two families and some of those characters that revolve around their stories. Um, one thing that's huge in this is relationships. And it's interesting myself directing this play because I'm not a parent and I'm not a spouse. And there's so much of this that's like love and marriage. And I'm the youngest in my family. I've experienced this side of it where, my sister was married and that it automatically like changes the family dynamic. And we got to talk about like family dynamics and you know how that kind of feels for us at whatever age. And it's interesting talking about these things and just how they would affect you. um so yeah, and everyone has something to bring to the table, which then I go back and I'm like, well, now I'm inspired for this way, and it's been really, really cool. So yeah, it kind of, we talk about those things, which has been really cool.
Nice. Um, something that happens, I'm sure you know about it. We
Mhm.
leave a show, we hop in our car, and we say to the person who attended with us something. What would you like that conversation to sound like?
One which is really, really generic, but it's it's so important. Um, one is, when's the next one? Um, that's important. And I don't mean the next show that I direct, the next show that these actors are in, the next show that Surfside Playhouse is doing. But when is the next time that, if you're in the car with your loved ones, your friends, your family, um, when is the next time that you can experience that? What's the next show that we can go see, or or concert we can go to, or I don't know, high school basketball game that we can go to, something where we can sit in a room and be together and experience something, because this um, is what defines us as people. This is what defines us as a community. And it's so important that people are getting out and experiencing life and listening and excited to talk about what they've experienced and how they're going to move forward from that experience. It's not necessarily like what is your favorite character, or like, but when do we get to do it again? That's always my favorite thing. What's our next one going to be? Because that truly gives such positive vibes for a community and makes things thrive and encourages others to do the same. So that's always what it's going to be.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um, I know I've been harping on the high school version and how
Mm.
different this is. Now I have a few friends who adore this show. They've obviously seen better performances than I did, and didn't just read it. So, what would you say to those people who are fearful that you've made a mishigas of this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. The story has not changed. The story has not changed at all. And the heart is still there. And I think what we've done is it's kind of like we've put a oh my gosh, what do you call that thing? That the doctors have. They put in their ears and the
Stethoscope.
stethoscope. Why can I not think of the yeah, we put the stethoscope on and we just made that heartbeat sound a little bit louder. And brought you closer to the story. Um, and I think it's kind of there are a few things that you're going to see in a different way, but the heartbeat of the story and what people love about the story, and I think what has made it so timeless, they're going to see even more, and why it has stood the test of time, and maybe why they like it in the first place. They might be able to go, oh, that's it.
Okay, cool. Well, that's it for my questions. However, I want to open it to you. If you were to do a commercial,
Uh-huh.
what would you want?
Um, if I were to do a commercial, what would I want? I think Our Town has been produced a million times, but I think it still asks one of the simplest and hardest questions, and that is, are we paying attention? Um, and this production, I think, is a love letter to noticing the small things before they become the things that we miss.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
So this is off the record. I was chatting with Marissa earlier, and I was asking her about her ideas and what she was going to be doing and blah blah blah. But because she really is our video storyteller,
Yeah.
I pop in every so often with some videos because I have a more linear Gen X brain.
Yeah.
I know you
Totally.
people, yeah, millennials are like, oh my God, Becker. Anyway, um, my stories are a little bit longer than
Yeah.
hers.
Uh-huh.
So something that just came to mind visually was starting with a lantern just by itself glowing and then kind of pulling away. Imagine cinematography, like pulling away, but then you start seeing the people walking across the stage with holding their lanterns,
Mm-hmm.
and then having a bit of crystal saying a few lines that just draw people in, and then say, see where the story goes, and then we can close the lantern door. Like we open the lantern door, something happens, and then we close the lantern door, and
I
then
love
it
that.
shows the Surfside logo.
No, I love that. I love that. Um,
How I'm gonna make it happen, I don't
we also have this element that we're doing,
know.
which is like the whole like idea of like the wanderers coming in, like the kids coming in, and like and these and this is the thing that I don't want to give away.
Okay.
The whole idea of like the that this ensemble is almost like like ghosts kind of in this house that like get to tell the story again. I was wondering, I think it would be really, really cool if we're using these lanterns, because it's still, and I mentioned this earlier, like we could do this story anywhere. If we kind of, if we were to film that, the idea of the people walking around with the lanterns, um, could we film it on the beach?
Yes.
And I think a cool thing would be, particularly like Lauren, like looking out at the ocean with the lantern, and then you have the people like walking by, and then maybe even, I love what you said about the close-up of Crystal, like all of a sudden it then doing a close-up of her and then just saying that first line, this play is called Our Town. And then you have like the surf. I think it would be really, really cool. And it would give this whole idea of like the story is important and it's not what you've seen before. And come in. And this is this community's production of Our Town, Surfside Playhouse,
Cocoa
like
Beach is,
Cocoa Beach. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because that's who we are.
Uh-huh. Exactly. If there was a time to maybe we could like go out there, like schedule it like before rehearsal, like write it like at sunset. Yeah, at dusk. I
Because
think
we
that
don't have a sunset. We're on the East Coast,
right. Yeah, like
facing east.
when the sun comes down. Yeah, yeah,
When the sun goes away.
right. So I think that would be really cool.
Okay, cool. When do you think we could do that?
How about sometime next week?
What about Sunday?
That's perfect.
I
Yeah,
don't.
I can set up a call. Let me if I want a call time for them. Let me think about the specific actors that I would want to come out there, and I'll get in touch with Courtney to see if we can pull some things for them to wear. And yeah,
Because Sunday, I think, is the date that I had for costumes for Crystal and the two girls. Because we
yeah,
were going to do the photo shoot for them
yeah.
on that day. And I was really just going to do like having the girls looking in the window
I love that. Yeah,
and then having Crystal kind of out front. I'm not quite 100% sure on the position, like her body language for that.
yeah.
You have a very different way than some of the others. They're like, you're the marketing person, you direct this commercial. And I'm like, well, it's your show.
Oh no,
So,
I'm like whatever you need from me, I will help support a vision and make it as cool as possible. Like
yeah, I just, want to do that.
no, but
So,
I love that idea that you said about the like the lantern and coming out, and then it just like I think at the beach would be cool. And it doesn't have to be in the theater, and it also kind of creates this like event that you want to come see, like an experience versus just you're seeing the play Our Town because that's not, you know, but like it shows that we're thinking outside the box with this production, I guess.
and
Yeah.
I think like Marissa would be good with like doing kind of outtakes from the commercial
Yeah.
for, and people filing in and, oh, my lantern's not lit or whose lantern is
Yeah.
this? That kind
Yeah.
of thing, it's like, no, Lauren, look at the ocean.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So I think that kind of might make people feel, more involved,
Yeah.
engaged.
Fantastic. I love
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Well, make
Awesome.
it happen.
Cool.
Yeah, Sunday, I'm available on Sunday. So just,
Okay. Yeah, I'll think about that tonight and send you a list of people. We'll just do like maybe like 4 or 5 people in the cast along with Crystal and Lauren, and yeah, we'll make it happen.
okay.
Cool.
Most awesome.
Thank you, Sony. I'm
Oh,
excited.
me too. That's what I want to hear.
I love it. I
All
love
right.
it.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We'll see what we
You.
get out of this.
All right, we'll see you soon. All
Take care.
right.
Bye.
Bye.